Hello, friends. It is Tuesday, July 25th, and I'm popping on to make a video for you and to welcome all of my new subscribers. I can't tell you how much it lights up my heart having all of you here. You really have no idea. It makes me really just overflowing with love and gratitude. So thank you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you just for your beautiful, beautiful presence here on this journey. We heal in community, we heal in collaboration, we change this world in collaboration. So the fact that you're all here walking this path with me, and I can feel you here walking this path with me, it means so much. We need to support one another. And thank you so much for being here and supporting me. So some intense energies this weekend, right? With the Venus going retrograde, still a lot of solar flares. We can look at the Schumann Resonance App. Let's see if it'll reload for me. And you can see this. So you see the green. The green is the Schumann resonance. That is the Earth's heartbeat. It's the Earth's energy field. And the big spikes that come in here, the yellow and the red, those big spikes are solar flares. And that's solar activity, that's extra kind of electromagnetic energy that's coming in, and how she's responding to that. All right, so when we see these big spikes, that is the solar energy reacting with the earth energy. And whenever I wake up and I'm feeling like off, I come on the app and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh yeah, massive solar flares. Awesome. Okay. Drink more water, make sure that you're grounded. These are things that that we can do, every day. We can make sure that we're hydrated. We can make sure we're in connection with the earth, and make sure that we're mindful of our energy and what that's bringing up for us, so that we don't litter with our energy. So if the solar flares or whatever is bringing up stuff for you, old traumas, old wounds, old hurts, and you're feeling a certain sort of way, you're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, you're feeling betrayed, you're feeling whatever, and if you're not mindful of that, when you go out into the world, that energy is bombarding people, and you could keep it in, but we just need to be mindful. And that doesn't mean when we feel sad or angry, we have to stay locked up. We just have to be mindful of how we talk to one another, and we need to learn how to process our emotions. It's super important, because that's how we heal. When we're able to sit with those emotions and process them, we neutralize that. We bring them back to the heart center. We bring those wounded parts home and integrate them back into the whole, so that those young wounded parts aren't running the show. They're valid. They need to be loved. They need to be heard. They need to be accepted and healed and held, but they shouldn't be running the show. Does that make sense? I think it's really important, because a lot of times our wounded parts are running the show. And that's how we hurt ourselves. That's how we hurt others. And we all do it. And, there's no, I don't want to sound shamey, because collectively we're finally just starting to see and realize and feel how much truth is in that. And we're all, a lot of us are starting to take more responsibility for that. And I really just wanted to confirm that that path that you're on, of taking ownership of your wounded parts and processing your emotions, is really a great path to be on for yourself, for your relationships, for your family, for your relationships with your kids, with coworkers, with the world. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for being there. And if you have absolutely no idea what the hell I'm talking about, reach out to me and we can talk more, and I'll make more videos about processing emotions and what that looks like, what that feels like, and the like. And I also am open to sitting with you virtually or in person if you're local to me, and showing you how to do it. So that being said, let's get into today's topic, which I'm not sure what to title it yet, but the gist of it is how sitting in that heart space and opening that heart space to that unconditional love can be really intense and can really hurt. In craniosacral therapy, it was one of my trainings, biodynamic craniosacral therapy. We talk a lot about traumas and how traumas are stored in the body, right? The body remembers everything. Every cell remembers everything. And when we have traumatic events happen to us, when we get overwhelmed, when our nervous system gets overwhelmed by an event, that event gets encapsulated in our energy field, and it's like a time capsule. It just kind of stays there, and it's imprinted at the level of energy that you were feeling when it happened. And the body, if we were animals, we would have this trauma, we would crawl under a bush and we would tremble and shake and let our reptilian brain discharge all of that shock and trauma, and then we would move on with our lives. But we're not animals. We have a cerebral cortex. And in this particular case, it's not a good thing, because the cerebral cortex takes us out of that reptilian processing and it puts us into thought mode. So it takes us out of feeling and pulls us into thinking. And so we start thinking, oh my gosh, I just had this horrible thing happen. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed. What do I need to do? Am I okay? Am I not okay? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? We go into, what do I need to do mode. And what that does is that shuts down our processing and it locks that trauma in our nervous system. We have a ton of this stuff sitting around, taking our energy from everyday life. And it can be stuff that as adults would totally not traumatize us. Like falling off your bike and skinning your knee when you were like 6 years old, but there was no adult around to help, and you were really scared because you were alone and it hurt and you weren't sure how you were going to get home, and and you go into this panic and it gets stuck, right? But as an adult, if you did that, it'd be like, all right, I'm just going to walk home. It's fine. It's not overwhelming. But we still have a lot of those things stuck in our nervous systems and in our etheric and in our cells, in our bodies. And it takes energy to maintain them. Energy that we could have for everyday life, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up, I mean, it's an important topic because we all have trauma. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because those traumas cannot be released until the energy that created them is matched. Okay, so there has to be an energetic resonance for those parts, for those time capsules. The vibration has to match, they match, and it can open and release, and you can get that energy back. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember falling off my bike. It was scary. And why am I still holding that? Okay. And that's important to know, because the body, our energy, will try repeatedly to recreate an incident in order to get it to release. So an example of that is, like you bonked your head and it really hurt me. You might have gotten a small concussion or something or not, you just hit your head and it really hurt. And that pattern got stuck. And so you find you're going through life and every single time you have any kind of slip or fall or accident or whatever, you bonk your head at the same spot and you're like, why am I always hitting that part of my head? And it's your nervous system and your energetic field trying to release that trauma. For me, it's my nose. It's the bridge of my nose. And I haven't gotten to that core trauma yet. I haven't figured out what it is. But if I ever take a shot to the face, it's right here. And there's something there that's just waiting for that energetic resonance to be released. So what does this mean? I mean, there are tons of implications for that. I'm sure you can, you're thinking of many of them right now. But I want to pull it around to our heart and the traumas and the hurts and the woundings that we have in our hearts and how we have a tendency to recreate woundings and traumas and hurts from our past, whether it's this lifetime or other lifetimes, trying to finally match that energetic resonance so that it can heal. Think back to your relationships that you've had in this life. Think back to your primary loving connection relationship, which would be your parents or your caregivers, whoever they may be, and see if you can feel or see a resonance through your life on the people that you choose to partner with. And then expand your field and hold a bigger container that maybe holds other timelines, other lifetimes, maybe hold a big enough container to go all the way back to your incarnation, and ask yourself, am I recreating in my relationships the primary wounding that I experienced separating from myself to incarnate in 3D? Where does that fall when you hear me say that? Are the relationships that I've had in this lifetime, whether they're romantic, friendships, whatever, are all of my experiences in this lifetime my attempt to heal my primary wounding of separation from spirit to incarnate into the physical? I've been feeling that, and that's why I'm sharing it. I've been feeling just so intensely in my heart this grief that just transcends time, this sense of loss, this sense of abandonment. Like there's a part of me missing. And when I open to love in my everyday life, whether it's with friends or my kids or relationships, whatever, when I open deeply to that unconditional love, it feels wonderful, right? When you're in the moment, it's like, oh, it's expansive, it's great, it's just, oh, it's so good, it's so good. This love, 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 it's good. And then when you're out of that situation, the light and the energy illuminates all of those little nicks and cuts and bruises and shadows and cobwebs and all of those little parts in your heart that hold trauma. And that's when we have to remember that the heart, whether it's the physical heart or the high heart, the energetic heart, the heart is paradox. It holds both. It holds your greatest love, and it holds your deepest, darkest grief and sadness and wounding. And they're the same thing, because one can't happen without the other. And if we can find that middle path, that heart soul essence, that part of us that knows our truth, and we can sit in the middle and hold all of it, then we can start to heal. We can start to release and hold those little parts that are wounded and bring them home to the center. And that's really a huge part of our path in this life, is to be able to hold all of it. And that's what makes the heart-led path so challenging, because it's not just about love and light and unicorns and fairy dust, although, it's that too. That's that part. It's also about this part. We have to be able to hold it all. We have to be able to love it all. And if we're not able to look at it and sit with it, and if opening to love brings out so much pain that we just shut back down and go back into our hole and our closet and our cave and hide, I mean, it's fine if you need to do that, but please don't stay there. I mean, I get it. Holding up in that, that womb-like cave, to be like, okay, it's not safe to go out there yet. I'm just going to stay in here where it's safe. I get it. Believe me. But when you're ready to come back out, know that you're not alone. Not only is there a community of beings on this planet who are holding this container for you, but there's a being within you that's holding that container for you, your heart soul essence, your higher self, the part of you that walks with spirit. That part of you is always holding the container for you. That's always holding your truth and your purpose and the highest expression of your love for yourself and for humanity. It's always holding that container for you. And you just have to be willing to come to that center place and reconnect and welcome yourself back into the embrace of that part of you. And it's worth it. It really is. You might cry for days. Been there. Totally been there. 48 hours nonstop. But it passes. And on the other side of that clearing of that energy, that sadness and that grief, on the other side of that is joy. And then we expand more, and then there's more to process, but it just gets it gets better, it gets easier, and trust me, it's worth it. It really is. It's worth it. You're worth it. The path is worth it. Because when we can all come home to our hearts and to our center and live from that embodied heart-centered place, this world will not have a choice but to start resonating with us there. Can you feel that? Can you feel what the world would be like if it was resonating from our hearts instead of from our wounding? We do this work together, friends. We do it together. Okay. That might be all I have today. Feel free to comment and share, and let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know your experiences, because I'm always curious about how things are with your soul. How are things with your soul? I want to know. And I want to know what your experience is with this life and with living this life. Okay. Thank you for being here once again. And yeah, blessed be.